Yo, what's good guys, I'm Fire here back on the video answer. We're going to be hopping into Dez's championship offense in Madden 23. Now, this video is a little bit older. I was planning on trying to get it out, of course, the day after. You guys know, usually after those tournaments, I'll post them the day after the championship, but I was just busy after that day, and I just couldn't get it out until now, so sorry about that. If you want to know where I've been, check the community tab on my channel, and that'll kind of be explaining some of the stuff, just things going on. But yeah, we're going to be back trying to post more consistently throughout the rest of the month. Again, if I'm able to, I will be posting. So we're going to be going over Dez's gun bunch championship offense. Now, of course, in that game, he ran a multitude of formations. He ran some gun tight offset tight end. He ran some gun stack Y flex. So it wasn't just gun bunch, but it was mainly gun bunch. I just chose the one that he ran the most. Let me know if you guys want to see claps. I'm planning on bringing that as well. And if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Drop a like if you guys want more of these. Now, beginning, I will have the written version of this down below in the description of my channel, or in the comment section of this video. Actually, I don't know why I said that, but it'll be in the comment section of this video, so you guys can follow along with that. And then, of course, we'll be going over every play. So first things first, we're in the New Orleans Saints offensive playbook. As you might have guessed, when you have tight offset, bunch, and sack Y flex. If you guys want to know how to run sack Y flex, I posted a video not too long ago on that. Now, he does, of course, use Hot Route Master, so that is going to be an ability that we are using, the Hot Route Master ability. And, of course, Tampa Bay is the only team we can use. Now, his audibles go as follows: Z spot and go at X, and then at Y, we have this play called Trail, Verticals, and then we put in Flood. The other play that he runs is going to be Y curl, which Y curl is on the right there, actually. And Y curl, very good play as well. So those are going to be kind of the 5 plays that this offense is built around. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Now, overall, again, it was he just played very smart in the game. If you guys watched, he was definitely the best player offensively, defensively. Didn't make any mistakes, and that's kind of how you want to attack it with this offense. So starting out with our first play, we're going to go verticals to begin. And again, there's not too many setups. It's not as high-powered as maybe a Henry bunch, I'll say that, but there are some good setups, and it's a little bit unorthodox, which means if you already are a bunch player, you already run the meta popular setups, then these setups could help. I felt like it was blurry for a little bit. All right, so starting out, we got verticals. First setup we're going to do is just put RB on a post and just block Y, and this was the setup. Simple. You're trying to base your routes around these guys over here, and you can just kind of decide between those 3 routes on the right side. Again, it's of course good to quick snap because you're only making 2 adjustments, and then you can snap the ball, so you can catch your opponents off guard. If you want to throw it to Mike Evans, you can kind of quick snap him on that wheel route. Same thing with A. Or if you are able to, maybe you're able, you can fit in this pass to Russell Gage over here on this post route a little bit later with like a high ball. So again, just overall a quick play. Honestly, defensively, people are practicing they're expecting a lot of the popular meta gun bunch concepts. So just running something like this in all these plays that are kind of stock, simple, but you mix in 1 adjustment here, and they're just difficult to stop. You're not necessarily expecting them. They can catch people off guard. So that's setup number 1. Setup number 2 is going to be something that he actually does a lot, and this is going to be to motion out the running back. So you just throw him on a streak or whatever to motion him out, and then the second part of this play is to drag Y. So here is a look at your setup, and the written version, by the way, is written based on your bunch being on the right as well. So if I say streak B, that means streak the outside receiver. Of course, if our bunch is flipped, then it would be X. So just want to address that in case anybody is confused. So here's your setup for number 2. It's really just adding something else. Gives you a nice underneath route, and when you throw it to your running back out of the backfield, you actually get some nice blocking with those wheel routes. So nice setup. Again, since he really did not run the ball ever out of bunch, I don't think he ran the ball once out of bunch. this concept is not terrible. The drag concept, it's not a bad thing to do, or just motioning this guy out of the backfield as a whole. You'll see it a little bit more out of some of the other plays. I forgot to put RB on his route, but again, you just have some of these other routes. The wheel routes are good, and you guys know verticals. It's a very solid play to run. So again, one last time, here's your second vertical setup. And again, this gives you a high-low between Y and RB, so look how much more open RB is. You see how number 53, he is way more down. His depth is defending the drag, rather than first, you had to almost step up in the pocket and highball it to really throw that route. So that is going to be verticals. Let's move into our next play, which is going to be this trail play, which is not in many playbooks, I don't think. It seems to be pretty exclusive. It's in things like Texans, I want to say. Ravens, I know it's in Saints, of course, some other things as well. Now, this play is interesting. You have a nice little angle route with your tight end, drag, Mike Evans on a post that I like, and then you have Godwin over here. First thing we're going to do out of this play is put Godwin on a little C route. I just prefer the way the C routes run. He prefers the way the C routes run. And first of all, or I should have said this in the beginning of the video, but with these plays, I'm not necessarily like going off any ebook or looking at it. I just watched the championship game the same way you guys did, wrote down the plays that he ran. So you guys can go by his ebook. It would show all those other formations. It would show a lot more bunch plays. And again, this is only off one game as well. So I didn't watch every tournament game of his and then write every single play from that. That would take too much time. So this is just from the championship game. But again, I just watched it the same way you guys could and just formulated the setups for you guys in an easier way. So with this play, it's very solid. You have an immediate high-low read. You saw me hit Rashad White on that first play. Immediate high-low read between your C route and flat. And then you have a nice couple of high-low reads over here. Really 3 routes that can get open. So you see Mike Evans open there. If you're faced with a little bit of pressure, my 2 routes would be between Y and A probably, because those routes seem to beat man coverage and get open the fastest. So here we're going to try and again with A, you don't want to wait until he's really in the middle of the field. You want to kind of throw it right when he makes his cut. So kind of almost throwing it on break, so to say. But I mean, overall, it is just difficult to stop. Late in the play, again, you can kind of throw this to RB, although he's really more of a distraction. But really, it just depends on the coverage, because if it's maybe a cover 4, who knows, maybe he's wide open. Or I would expect the angle route to be open if it's something like match coverage, but again, you never know. And then your last kind of read here is with X. You can kind of throw it in there, or you can, of course, highball it and maybe try and pass it upfield. If it's man coverage, again, things would be played differently. So expect that to happen. Now, moving into our next setup, it's going to be Z spot and go, and we only have one setup for this play, unfortunately. And with this play, all he did was streak B, motion him out, block Y, and drag X. So nice little setup. You ran this play in game. If I don't know if any of you remember. Again, I just watched the game, so it's fresh in my mind. But with RB, he threw it to Cooper Kupp, and I think he got like rocked on this play. So to get it open against cover 3, you have to motion out B on the streak. If it's cover 2, it'd be fine. But yeah, overall, just a nice solid play. Considering the fact that there's not really too many corner outs thrown, I think this play was the only time he actually threw a corner out of this formation the entire game. You could definitely catch someone off guard. Again, it's a lot of like seam streaks and little check down, dump downs. There's not actually too many throws just straight outside the numbers deep like this. So you can hit Russell Gage, you can open it up. If Russell Gage isn't open, you have a couple of other options as well. You're never really going to throw the streak, but you have this flat, and you have, again, Godwin coming across the timeline on that left-hand side that can, definitely get open for you. So here you can, that was a terrible free form, but you can throw it to Cameron Bray, your tight end right there. So that is it for Z spot and go. Again, he only ran it once, but, it's a good little simple setup. And again, simple setups like that, just a drag and a corner out, actually tend to end up being better. So that's going to take us to our next play, which is actually going to be the Y curl play that we're already in. This play was, he has the most setups. We'll have 4 setups for this play. Some of them seem to be similar, but they're pretty solid setups. And again, he was switching formation, so it wasn't only this gun bunch. But with Y curl, what you're going to do is this first setup, we went ahead, streaked B, corner RB, slant A, and we motion out B. So this is similar. With this play, you'll see a lot of the guys that he threw it to when he ran it was the running back out of the backfield and this seam streak to Chris Godwin. This route with Godwin is really good. You throw it like right about there. That is kind of the timing of the play. Every single time that he threw it to that route, you want to throw it almost on break as well. Maybe a couple steps after if he has to get over the top of any kind of a zone, a safety, or a linebacker. But overall, that is kind of your timing in it. So again, the setup, we corner RB, we streak B, A on a little slant here, I don't mind. Then again, you just motion over Evans. So here, with the user, the motion's a lot like eye candy. I feel like I'm blurry. Maybe my eyesight's just bad. But the motion's a lot like eye candy. It's going to draw the user's attention. So I know if you guys are playing, you see this motion, what are you thinking? You're probably thinking it's maybe a verticals play. Maybe it's Z-Spawn-Go trying to open up his corner out, which we do have, so the user could very easily follow this route. And then what ends up happening is, boom, Chris Godwin, you see even there, I threw it probably a little bit later than I should have, because if they have a knockout, you never know what could happen. But he ends up getting open, and, we'll take it. So that's Chris Godwin. The other routes you have are, you have an actual wheel route. I don't like that they got rid of these actual wheel routes myself, but out of this particular play, some stock plays, you do have them, and it's nice to have these to throw them because you can throw them a little bit later. You don't have to snap throw it. I can throw it up here and still have him catch up the field. So I like those wheel routes. You'll see in some situation we actually end up motioning him out, which you'll see later down the timeline, but that is setup number 1. Now, setup number 2, what you're going to do is you're going to corner out RB. Still, you're going to put B on an out route, though, so we're going to create a little bench concept, and then with A, we're going to put him on a curl route. So this is a pretty good spacing concept. It's going to keep things a little bit less congested on that left side because you don't have any crossing route going from right to left. So I do enjoy that. And then you have a nice little just basic bench concept on this right side. So with this right side, we can kind of throw it in here. Again, cover 3 does a pretty good job at defending it. Match coverage would do the same, but against man coverage, I like that bench concept. And again, it's eye candy. It creates spacing over here on the left side. Really, with this play, you're trying to throw to one of these two guys. The guys on the right are really for late play situations. You can fit this into your tight end as well. But again, with Y curl, you really are trying to throw it to one of those two guys on the left-hand side, particularly. So keep that in mind when you're running the play. Again, high ball always. I'm pass leading inside. That is kind of what we're doing with that, and you see working pretty well for us. So that is setup number 2. Setup number 3 is going to be the exact same thing actually, but we're going to do one difference. As I mentioned, we're going to actually motion Rashard White out of the backfield. Now, what this does is it just creates different level of spacing. It seems that it would open up Godwin earlier. You're kind of pulling that zone to the outside quicker. So if you're facing pressure, edge pressure, this would be a good play to run to throw it to Godwin a little bit earlier. So you can throw it now instead of waiting that extra second for him to actually fully break and then take an additional step. So I'm a fan of this setup. Again, we already motioned out Rashard White on another play, so he's not necessarily going to know. And with this wheel route, you can kind of throw it out there like this as well. Now, that was probably a little bit late. If you want to throw it late, he does. I don't know that he ends up running up the field. It looks like he should. But you can also still quick snap it like this. You see even the hot reads ability recognize that as the open wide receiver. So it isn't a bad concept. This play could also work on the short side of the field as well if you want to give these boys even more room. As far as the wheel route, let's wait a little bit and see. So he ends up running up the field as well, and he almost runs slower, so that actually should play to your benefit. So nice concept there. Now, last setup is going to be RB on a corner out. We're going to out B again. This time we're just going to put A on an in route, and we're going to smart it. So it gives you a nice little concept route. This would, of course, be better if it was a man coverage situation. But again, if you need a late read, A is usually going to be your guy, because generally with those two targets on the left, you're getting the ball out. Same with like an out route, you're getting the ball out. And with the corner out, you're going to know pretty early on in the play if it's going to be open. So A is really your boy late in plays if you need it. And again, these in routes are pretty difficult to user. So his user will probably track to it late, think it's a streak. You can throw it in between that window of two zones. It would beat man coverage as well. So I like that route a lot myself. Show one more time here. And again, Chris Godwin, high ball it straight in there. And again, it's almost 20 yards every single time. It's very difficult to read because, again, that's not a route that people expect out of bunch. If I was defending bunch, it would be the last route I'm defending. It almost forces you to man him up, which really can open up some other things. If he's manning up that receiver, boom, C route, high ball, touchdown. So that's it for wide curl. We got our last play, flood, where we have two more setups. And with this flood play, we are going to run something kind of similar to verticals. We're going to actually end up posting RB. And for this first setup, all we do is drag X, block Y. We do end up motioning out Evans. Again, when we motioned out Evans, it could kind of bluff a couple of different things. We motioned him out in a couple of different plays. Y curl, Z spot and go. So this is the third play, different play that we've ran it. So he's not going to, again, still know what play we're running. He's probably expecting what? Corner out. That's what we've done so far. And now we have him on a post route. So something different. And again, this is just another one of those basic concepts. Drag, post, backside flat. So, and again, it seems like these routes are almost more difficult to defend than the predictable but more complicated setups. So here again, check down the flat, pick up 7 yards. These do add up, and then you add it to the fact that you're audibling to different formations. We have other things in the bag. We might be running the ball. So even though these setups are a little bit basic, they're difficult to defend. Nonetheless, that is why he won a championship running these plays. It's not by accident. It's not luck. It was making the correct decisions combined with just giving yourself these simple play designs to limit your opportunities to make mistakes. Whereas if you have to force the ball down the field with aggressive catches, things like that, it doesn't work as well. Now, moving to the last flood setup, post RB, drag X, block Y, motion out this boy, and then our last thing is just a flat Y. So you're just adding another route. This is if he's rushing 3, 4, maybe playing coverage defense. You don't have to stop a blitz. You can add Rashard White to the equation, and against cover 3, he's wide open over there to pick up 7+ yards pretty easily. So again, you're just adding another thing to worry about. What's this going to make him do? Man up the running back or throw some kind of a hard flat out there. And it's really just a pain to do that. The moment you throw that route once, same with the wheel route, he's going to probably begin to man him up every single play. And that's going to open up some other things. One being this route. And again, you can just highball a lot of these passes regardless. Don't risk throwing the interception. Just aggressive catch. He aggressive catch or highballed on a majority of his passes. So don't be afraid to use that highball mechanic. But overall, that is going to do it for the video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you drop a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel down below. Again, let me know if you want to see Clef or any other pro players that were in that tournament. We have another one, I think, coming up soon as well because they already had ladders for it. So we should have more content where that is coming from. Let me know what else you want to see in addition, because we've kind of been out of the loop a little bit with not being as consistent. So if I missed anything you guys want to see, let me know. That's going to do for me, and peace. I'm out of here.